Welcome back to Visual Trigger.
This is the last time I talked about gear reviewer sites and how about the only thing they try to do is get you to think you need new stuff. And you really don't need new stuff. Now, it's like back in 2000, 2001 when the dynamic range was crap. The sensors weren't so great. A lot of them were CCD, and I'm not saying CCD is bad. I like CCD. The M9 was CCD. A lot of beautiful things Phase 1 made were CCD. But as long as you've got something that's moderately up to date and you have good dynamic range and your ISO performance is great, you don't need anything. You don't need a new camera. A while ago, if I needed to use a certain kind of camera, I would just go rent one because it didn't make economic sense to go buy something like that. But now the cameras are so amazing, and we're so lucky to have, like a gimbal. It smokes a Steadicam, and they're $500. And I think some Steadicams are still like $400 or $500, and they're absolutely not as good as a gimbal. So, while there's good things that they're really cool things that you can go out and buy right now, or almost at any time. You really should just take what you have and go shoot it more and completely ignore gear review sites. All they're there to do is make you feel insecure. And they're probably even written by people who are semi-insecure. They're looking for page views, and nothing is for free. Like the whole thing about Zoom came out. Yeah, sure, it's free. You're paying for it somehow. I'm not exactly sure how you pay for it, but if you look at the TOS, everything, there's a price to everything. Facebook, that's not for free. They're selling you. So when you go to a gear review site, all they care about is how long you stay on that site and that you don't click away and that they have you for a while. And all the while there, you're essentially just looking at stuff that makes you think you need something new. If anything, I would say, sure, go get a new lens. But a new body, I don't see. If you have a body in the last 4 years, you probably don't need a new camera. And with these manufacturers coming out with something every 12 to 18 months, their one goal is to churn. They need to churn units, and that's their job. And their social media and PR people, their job is to get people to write about their new stuff and hopefully write favorable stuff, because you rarely on the top reviewer sites, and I'm not going to name them, it's never objective. They don't. So even magazines back in the day, their primary job was not to use the reader, to sell ad space. So rarely are you going to see anything written that's bad. So now, there's, I assume there are photography magazines. I haven't seen one in a long time. I know PDN shut. And I remember I was in LA. Not the last, one of the last shoots I did when I was there, but it was for, uh, what was it for? I don't remember what it was for exactly, but the publisher for PDN was there. And I'm like, holy crap, I haven't heard that in a long time. Like, I wasn't even aware anybody even read it anymore. And I mean, she diffused it, but you could tell that she was a little offended. But I mean, whatever, that it is what it is. But reviewers don't really have a fiduciary obligation to you as a reader to be super honest with you, because they're not going to get sent gear if they name this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem. And it's really hard to trust anybody. Even in I always get sent those emails from mostly B&H. Hey, can you help a reader out with a question? Now, why the fuck would I do that? Seriously. You want to take some of my time and just so I can give you content. And you don't get, I mean, maybe they have some algo that sends out, if you do this, this, and this, it sends out this. I don't know. I don't think it does. Or B&H does. And I don't get why you would give Amazon, why would you give them anything? And when you read, even if you read DP review, they're never gonna slam a camera. And I've had several things in my hands that I'm like, this is a piece of shit. There's no reason you should ever buy this fucking system. I don't even know where a consumer or someone who just honestly wants to know a little bit of information. I mean, I guess you have to take all of it in and then parse it to yourself, like what's real. And you know, like in scoring, you take out the highest and the lowest, and the truth is somewhere around in here. I don't even know where you go to get that. I mean, DP review, don't they sell Amazon? Like, aren't they owned by Amazon? Don't they only have Amazon links? The only time you go on there and you get served ads for like Amazon Prime videos. I don't see how you can trust a retailer to give you the right information. And everybody knows that the whole Amazon review system is completely flawed. I would have to think that the B&H one as well. I don't really shop at Adorama, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, and some of the big YouTubers who, well, I mean, some of these people, hey, I just picked up a camera in 2017. That's cool. Shouldn't you still be learning? Like, doing photography that teaches yourself, like in an autodidactic kind of way. But I don't even see them doing that. And when you listen to some of these reviews, you'll hear them say, well, I'm not sponsored by so and so, even though they would blow a dead bear to be sponsored by somebody. And in fact, that's kind of like, you don't really want to be sponsored. People think they do. It ties your hands. You can't. I remember one manufacturer and I had a conversation, and he said, well, the door only opens once, and everybody wants that door open to us. And while that's true, absolutely true, when I would get called to participate in certain things, those engineers didn't want to hear anything except for yes, or some confirmation of an idea they already had. And that's cool. I get it. That's corporate America. But how a consumer gets their information is kind of sad these days. You'd think with all of this information available to you, YouTube, review sites, photography sites, you could be a well educated consumer. But it always ends up being, oh, like what my cool friend shoots, what that cool photographer shoots, what some idol photographer they have shoots. And I totally get that, and that's why manufacturers would sponsor people like that. But I think you really just need, if you've got a moderately modern camera and you have some glass that you like, just use that. No one's gonna know. And I just love on Instagram, or even back in the day, what camera did you shoot that with? What the fuck does that matter? It doesn't even matter. I mean, I will say, I think Fuji's color science smokes everybody else. It's freaking beautiful. Skin tones, I don't think. I mean, I I don't shoot full frame cameras anymore. I quit doing that when I moved. I don't, I shoot aps-c for stills and video, and I shoot medium format digital for stills. I don't like 26 by or 36 by 24. I think it's a waste of time. But you know, I'm in the minority because so many people shoot full frame. But I mean, what's really full frame? That's, you know, I shoot 4x5 for clients too, 4x5 film, because it looks like nothing else out there. And most of the photographers I compete with, especially in the genre of what I'm doing now, they wouldn't even know what a 4x5 film holder was. They probably wouldn't even know. They probably have. In fact, I've talked to a couple of them. They've never even shot film, and that's cool. Great. You know, I'm a fucking dinosaur. But if you just learn to shoot what you have right now and look at stuff that you really like and try to backward engineer it, go do that. You will serve yourself so much better and save so much money, because these incremental changes, except in perhaps video, because video on you know, interchangeable cameras, interchangeable lens cameras, like I'm shooting this with a T3 from Fuji, the video changes are a big deal. But even now, those are getting just slightly incremental. I don't think you're going to be seeing huge jumps in anything. So, you know, skip a couple generations. I'm sure manufacturers don't want to hear you say that, because, you know, you go on. I'm always looking for like darkroom and larger stuff, because I found ridiculous deals. In fact, I went and picked up a neg carrier for my enlarger, and the dude was like, "Hey, I'm literally moving in 2 days. Just take all of them." In fact, he offered me another enlarger that I already had, and I should have probably taken it, but they're massive, and I don't really need to store an extra enlarger. I mean, I could use it for parts if that ever happened, but if you go on Craigslist and I'd say Craigslist is what I look at most, because on eBay, people just look at what things sold for and they're like, oh, well, that's what it should be. So I don't really think you get as good a deals as you can find on Craigslist. But right when you see an announcement of like, and because I pay attention to Fuji the most, like T4 was announced and it ships whenever. Now you just see a plethora of T3s for sale. And literally, my kid was using T1s and now I gave her another T2. But she was using T1s since the get-go, making fantastic photos for clients. No one really, like, what I really appreciate about her, and I think I think the more tech you are, the more apt you are to be like a gear guy. But if you really just go for what the image looks like I knew an editorial guy and I used to make fun of him because I'm an asshole. And he had one fucking 5D2 and he had literally, what was it? It was like a 24 to 120 f4 Canon zoom. But that dude was shooting for like, oh, Louis Vuitton and huge people and huge clients, and his stuff looked fantastic. So, the guy who's on YouTube or something who's got 1 million subscribers, shooting a 5D2 and some fucking 4.0 kit lens. Yeah, but that guy on YouTube is only really telling other people what to do because what he did was he watched something else on YouTube, and now he's a 5-minute expert. And the only person who ever used that word with me was this creepy son of a bitch who said, you wouldn't want to read something for 10 minutes and become a 5-minute expert. And I'm like, that's not fucking possible. I don't care what you sell yourself or what your religion sells you. You're not going to become an expert in 2 minutes. No way. So, if anything, get yourself a new lens or even a used lens. But if your camera's within 3, 4, 5 years, you probably don't need anything new at all. And, this is actually getting a lot easier. And I've edited some stuff now and applied the LUT. And with the new lights, or the lights that I've installed, look pretty damn good. So, yeah. And I talked to a couple people to coerce them into, once I figure out exactly how to do it, talk to some of my friends I've talked to in the past, other photographers. I even want to talk to people who get shot by photographers, and I've talked to a couple of those girls and they seem to think that'd be a fun thing to do. So yeah, getting there. And yeah, thanks for coming by and checking it out. I'll talk soon.